Hello everyone, my name's Omnisy and welcome to another video. This is probably a slightly different video than you guys are probably used to. It's going to be a end of day one impressions on Paladins, the new game that is in closed beta from Hi-Res Studios. So I'm just going to go over, I have a couple things written down. I'm actually recording this at 1:20 a.m. so I've been playing a lot of it since 12 p.m. I believe that's when it launched. That's when I started playing it. And so I have a couple things written down that I'd like to talk about and maybe promote a little bit of discussion, see what you guys think. And yeah, so I'll just get started into it. First thing I want to talk about is sort of just general stuff. The cards, if you guys don't know, is how they're kind of like the cards sort of. Well, some of them are different. There's a lot of variety, which is something that I really like. There's a lot of variety in the cards, but basically what most of them are passives that can be added onto other stuff like explosion radius or attack speed or something like that. There's a lot of stuff that are way more fun than that and stuff like that. But that's like the general gist of kind of what they do. Like one makes you be able to shoot your autos further on one character, or another one could give you extra health, or another one could give you chance percentage to burn or something like that. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do depending on each card. Every single card is pretty different, and they're restricted to classes. Like each class has their own set of cards, but they're all so different, and also most of them are really interesting, and almost all of them are useful. Some are more situational than others, but just the fact that there's so many already and stuff and things like that, and I don't know, it's great. And also, it's kind of, they have chests for different kinds of cards, and they have card rarities, but you can also trade up all the way to the top. So, and you can get different cards just off of winning and stuff like that. I'm not sure exactly how it works. In my experience for the first day right now, it seems like you get a chest, more likely, not always, but you most likely will get a chest. If you win, you have a better chance. And then, you can eventually get up to the legendaries, which I believe is the highest rank. I think it's legendary, then epic, then rare, then normal, although I might be wrong about that. Common, not normal. But overall, the card system's great. If they keep the way it is right now, you're going to technically be able to get all the legendaries and all the cards just by playing, which is fantastic. I love the fact that in a type of game where it's a MOBA, where you're going to be playing it over and over for a long time anyways, you're going to be able to get them without having to pay money. Although I'm sure you can't right now, obviously, because it's in beta. But I'm sure you could if you wanted to speed it up, but you don't have to. And you're going to be playing it over and over again, so you're just going to get more eventually anyway. Another thing is every single champion, which is what I believe, yes, they're calling them champions in this game. Every single champion feels different, like really different. There's not like, you can't say, oh, this guy's basically the other guy with one thing changed. They're all different so far. There's like, they all do different things. And to fight them, you have to know what they do, because you have to approach each character differently. If it's the archer, you have to get up close and try to force their rule and just pin them down. If it's the goblin, you gotta run, man, and shoot them from really far away where they're not as effective. If it's the grenader, you have to swarm him from two different directions at least that are different. Like that's so he has to focus his attention. It's great. They all feel different, and I really like it. They're doing really well. If they keep creating characters that are this different, it's going to be amazing. On to more of a critical analysis. We're going to go into a little bit in depth. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth as to items because, well, there's a lot. I forget how many there are. There's a lot of different cards, and I've only went through maybe 3/4 of them, and only a certain amount of them for a decent amount. I know what's best on a couple characters for now and things like that, but other than that, I haven't gone through all of them, so I'm not going to go through everything. But as far as abilities, passive cards, and otherwise, I have a couple concerns. Explosions are really, really good in this game, and I'll go into that a little bit more when I go into the character that has the most explosions. But any kind of explosion that has an AoE, it's really easy to make those too good. And we have the potential here to make those too good. And it's a really fine line, which is hard to do. But I think maybe they might be too good. They might not be. I've only had 1 day of practice so far, and I'll keep playing probably every day for a very long time. But for now, they seem like I think what I'm saying is it's just something that we might want to watch. Explosions might be too good. The same thing goes with ticks. Any tick damage, like fire tick damage. It depends. There's this one character, which again we'll go into more when we go into the characters, but there's one champion that has a fire attack, and if you get a certain card, I believe, I didn't play much of him, but if you get a certain card, he has a chance of doing burn damage to you. And the burn damage will bring you down, like, it does like half of your health, and it seems pretty ridiculous. It's really crazy. So that's something to look out too, because ticks are really easy to make really too good. So that's another thing. Just watch, be careful about that, because it's something that's really easy to go overboard with. As far as individual champions, I guess I'll go through them one by one. I have them listed here. Barrack, he is the musketeer dwarf, I would say. I'm not actually sure if he's a dwarf, but he looks like a dwarf. If I say dwarf and then you look at a lot of characters, you know who I'm talking about. He's like a musketeer. He shoots musket balls. He seems like I haven't played much of him, but I did play with a lot of other people who played him, and he seems like he's the potential to be really good and the potential to be really not useless, but just meh. So that to me says he has a pretty decent skill cap right now. He can really be a pain to play against, and he can be kind of a non-issue. You can just kind of get around him. So I think I don't have as much experience on this character yet, but I think that he's in a good spot. He seems very interesting. I like the musket, and yeah, pretty good. Now we're going on to Ruckus, the goblin. He's actually heavy. He's a tank. Basically, he has one machine gun, and then an ability gives him the ability to use two for a very small amount of time. It's just 2 times attack speed. He also has a self shield, which you can do a bunch of stuff too with cards, and a hover. He's interesting. We're gonna have to see where he places. He's very simple. He's a very simple character, and he's very, very easy to be useless on. You have to be in their face. You have to just shred them, or you die. And you have to have a team backing you up to split their attention. So I think with a good team, he could be a good character. But in pug-type situations, which is what we're in right now, he's very easy to make useless. But I think he has potential, so I like him as well. But not to play him, because I'm terrible at tanks in this game. Moving on to Fernando, he's the self-appointed knight. He looks like a knight. And he's one of them. He's one of the characters that has fire. That is just a tick, and it's just really good. He also has a shield, which is really good. He seems to be in a really good spot. I like the shield. It's good zoning tactics, really good for taking objectives. I like the fire in theory. Hopefully, we'll see where it sits after a couple days of playing, I think. And I don't know. I like his charge and stuff like that, so I think he's in a good spot. I didn't play a whole lot of him, but I played with a whole lot of him, so I like playing with him. I think he's a good character. Moving on to Cassie. This is a character that I have a lot of practice with, like most of my practice with. She is the archer. She has one ability that is explosive arrow, basically. She has a scout ability, kind of like Ashe in League of Legends, where the arrow just goes out and gives vision. Kind of like that, but it's just kind of like putting on goggles and being able to see people through walls. Pretty good. She has a dash to get away from stuff, which is necessary with her. I really like that. She's a very good character. She rewards really good aim, which I really like about her. She has a pretty high skill cap as far as what you can hit and stuff like that. So I really like that. I think she's an amazing character. I think she's an amazing character, and I really like her. She's actually my favorite right now. So good job, guys, on that one. I really like that. Moving on to Pip, the Fire Thief. Now, you guys have probably by now at least seen gameplay of this from my channel if you've watched it. let's just say he has explosions. He has the ability to get poison ticks. He's insane. He is probably right now first day. I mean, again, first day analysis, but he's probably the best character right now. He can hit multiple people with his autos. He has a huge explosion. For his one, it's like here, want more explosions? And then he has a slow, which is amazing. And he has an escape too. Now the thing is, this guy has hugely high DPS, and he's squishy. That's good, right? Like, that's usually the center of a really good character. But he has an insane escape. Like, you just activate and you jump away, and they can't hit you because you're jumping and you're escaping really fast. I think that might be really too good. And, of course, with future testing, I think we might have to tone that down. Or not we, I'm not doing it. But I think Hi-Rez might need to tone him down to make him a little bit more balanced in relationship to the other characters. I think he's able to get out of too many situations. And if you watch more gameplay of me playing him, you'll see why. He can just go and grenade a bunch of people, and then if he gets in trouble, he just bounces out like a freaking squirrel. It's ridiculous. So we're going to have to watch him. His explosions are already really good. Him having a really good escape might be a bit too much. Moving on to the assassin type character, Skye. She's the obligatory Loki in the high-res game. I call her the obligatory Loki, but I guess Loki wasn't the first iteration of this type of character. But basically, she can go invisible. She shoots like rapid-fire darts, for one, and she can go invisible. And she can plant a time bomb. It takes 2, maybe 3 seconds to blow up, and it does pretty decent damage, and it's an AoE, so it's a good. I like that move. I like that move a lot. The invisibility, I mean, I like it. It's a pretty good escape, but she also has less DPS than, say, the Rat. I'm just gonna call him the Rat. You guys can. I hope you guys are okay with that. But she has less DPS than the Rat. She's very easy to kill as well. If her escape's down, can't go even anywhere near anybody, and it's really it's harder to hit her autos from far away than the Archer, and she has less range. So I think she's in a good spot, and this is kind of weird to say, but she has the potential to be amazing, and she has the potential to just suck. So I think she's in a good spot. I like her. I like the fact that she can get in and out of stuff. I like the fact that she has a lot of damage. I like the fact that she's squishy. High skill cap. I like it. I like anything that's a high skill cap. Now we go to Grok, or however you actually say his name. It's Grohk. He's the lightning orc. And he is insane. Basically, is a laser gun that does tick damage. Again, we've talked about tick damage. Be careful with that. And he also has, I haven't played him a single time, but I've played against him so many times. He has this one ability where it's this fire aura radius, and if you stand in it, you're dead. If you stand in it for too long, you stand in it for 5 seconds, you're dead, and you're like, oh, 5 seconds is a long time, you should be able to step out of it. Yeah, but I found times where I'm in the heat of the battle, and I'm being hit by that, and it takes 4 or 5 ticks before I even realize that that's what I'm getting hit by, and I better jump out before I die. So maybe it'll just take more time for me to play and get game sense for that, but it might be worth watching to see if he needs if there needs to be a better indicator of you're being hit by a bunch of ticks from an AoE that is just a slight orange tinge. I believe that's what it was. I can't really remember what color it was, but that's in effect what it was. Probably in one of my gameplay videos too, if you guys want to go for a reference. I might find one too, but it's really late, so probably not in this video. And so, he has the potential to be too good. But that being said, I think I like all the characters. Let's just put it this way. With the way all the characters work, I like them. Let's just be careful of the numbers on ticks and explosions, because explosions are already better than single target damage. Remember that. Explosions are better than single target damage, so they need to do less damage because they're AoEs. AoEs are better. If it can hit multiple people, it should probably have slightly less damage to compensate for being able to hit multiple people. Like an arrow can hit one person, so it should probably do a little bit more damage. That's just my opinion, though. Anyways, moving on. Individual champions, I like them. Just to summarize, just be careful. Random cards. Okay, so that's the next bullet on my list. Basically, the only mode we have right now is you get a random choice of cards every level instead of being able to use the cards you have. I like this. That's because you don't have to get the cards to be like, oh, I don't have any cards. Freaking, and then you'd have to give everyone all the cards. Random cards make it so that everyone can play with the stuff and things like that. So that's good. I like that. The thing is, we're gonna have to progress from that, because what random cards does is it puts a randomness on the entire game. We're like, oh, did you get all the really good cards? Well, you're a better character than the same class on the other team that got the. Every once in a while, we might get an extra proc, and they got two extra speed tickets. Like, I can't give like an example of a loadout that would suck and a loadout be really good straight up right now. Probably could if I thought for a minute, but I'm not gonna do that for the sake of this video. But you can tell, like, the randomness, like, it could sway the whole game. So we kind of, and I know you already have the mode like set up, but we need to be able to. Jeez, I'm just getting interrupted all the time. We need to be able to soon. I don't know how soon. That would, I guess, Hi-Rez would know better. But soon we need to be able to progress from that so that we can also have sort of a solidified, this is how the game balance for the cards and just characters work on a better of a flat scale without the randomness, which I'm sure will happen soon or at some point because they already have the mode there set up for it. So yeah. Also, another thing is, and I'm sure matchmaking takes a long time to make and a long time to make work. But at some point, probably around the same time or after the getting the mode that doesn't have random cards, is some sort of matchmaking. Because just to give an example, there's like, oh, well, we have two people that are really good at this game, and like I went 19-2 and he's going like 8-1. And then we have one person that says, how do you move forward again? There's actually that much of a scale. So that's later on, obviously. So this is not a critique, but we're going to need some kind of matchmaking at some point in the beta, and I'm not experienced with how betas work. So I'm not saying, oh, you guys should do this quickly, but we're obviously going to, just thoughts of someone who's very tired after playing a lot of Paladins because I love it. Those are just some thoughts that, we're gonna need that, and I trust that Hi-Rez is gonna implement it at the point where it's most useful. But it's just a thought. So that's my main thoughts. I really like the game. Just to summarize, I really like the game. There's some things that the community and Hi-Rez together are going to need to watch to make sure that they're okay, like the ticks and all that. But overall, this game is looking amazing. I love it. I'm going to be playing it forever. Let me know what you think in the comments below if you guys have opinions. And other than that, I'm going to go to bed. So I'll see all of you in the next episode. See ya. What are they doing? Come on, we got this. You got this, Blitz. You got this. Just survive, get around and kill Archer. We got a couple seconds to do it.